Breaking news right as we started recording this, border czar Tom Homan, who was brought in to oversee the ICE presence in Minnesota, announced that the enforcement surge in the state will end, telling reporters that President Donald Trump has approved his request to conclude the operation. He said, I will remain in Minnesota a little longer to oversee the drawdown to ensure its success. First of all, very interesting use of a military term, the drawdown, which we associate with forces in places like Afghanistan. But Matt, what do you make of this announcement after all of the horrible headlines of the past month or two?
It was clearly just a matter of time. Look, as we talked about, when Holman sort of becomes the voice of reason and all this, we've jumped the shark a little bit. I find it interesting that earlier this year, he was interviewed for a book, and one of his comments were about how these need to be targeted and these need to be within kind of American values. But for some reason, Nome and Bovino completely went out and militarized the whole situation. Minnesota is going to go down as how not to do enforcement. I do think if there is one good thing that's going to come out of those tragedies is going to be Americans stepping up and trying to take their country back, because we don't want our streets militarized. This is not what we voted for. This is not what we want. We want strong enforcement. We don't want military in the streets. And I do think we're starting to make that way. And that's why I think this was inevitable.
I can foresee that when we broadcast this episode live, there will be, because we always get people being a little trolly, there will be people saying, oh, you're for open borders. You're for letting all the illegals stay here. It's not what either of us are saying.
No.
It's not what most people in both parties believe. What we're against is a paramilitary attack on American communities and American citizens and on immigrants who are in those communities. We don't want to see violence. This is not, as you said, the way to do enforcement. I agree with you that this was inevitable. There's a proud tradition in American politics of allowing a little bit of face-saving time to elapse before doing the inevitable step. Shoot, you saw it in the Cuban Missile Crisis when we made a secret deal with the Soviet Union to remove Jupiter missiles from Turkey. We just said, look, we can't make it public for 6 months. Tom Homan, this has been a plan probably in his back pocket ever since he arrived in Minneapolis, and now they're going through with it after a little bit of face-saving time.